a sustainable weight loss solution, and it is a downloadable product. It's on sale. It's regularly $21.99, and it's on sale right now for $12.99. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to make a purchase. You don't have to be a member to participate. This is just what we're going to be doing for the next 21 weeks. And really laying some real good foundation for healthy, sustainable weight loss and what works for the long haul. And, you know, you can do anything for a day or two, but can you do it for 5 years, 6 years? That's when you have the mark of something sustainable. So, our first week, day 1, which for us will be week 1, starts off by saying a holy mess affirmation I learned a couple of years ago. My body is tracking calories whether I am or not. It's tracking points too, whether I am or not. I think I'm on day 12 with Weight Watchers. I was tracking calories only, and I'm doing an experiment. You know, Sarah always tells us we're an experiment of one. And I'm doing an experiment to see how calories and points come together. Right now, I have eaten 11 or 12 points for today. I forgot which it was, but only 657 calories. So I'm coming in low. I've not had my supper meal yet. I should have eaten more calories by now compared to points. What we're learning in the Forever Fix workshops is that we should have half of our calories or points consumed by 3 o'clock. That's kind of the target we're shooting for. So I'm good on points. 11 is, you know, roughly half of 23. It's coming in good. So I'm good on points, but calories, just 657 is a little bit low. Oh, Julia, you found it. You had purchased it in January. Excellent. If anybody has purchased this book before, it has a different cover. I just didn't print the cover to save on ink, to be honest. If you have purchased this before, you still own it. If you can't find it on whatever device you originally downloaded it to, just email in to sarah@theholymess.com and we can reissue you that product for download. So if you've ever purchased anything, even if you lose it, you can still get access to it. But day 1, your body is counting whether you are or not. And that's the truth. It counts every unhealthy habit and it counts every healthy habit. We talk a lot about calories and points. And like I say, I'm still working on reconciling those on used to. It was really easy with points. Roughly 50 to 60 calories was 1 point. Then they started calculating based on added sugar, and that threw that generalization way off. So we can't do that generalization anymore, because something can have 100 calories and no points, like an apple, or something can have 100 calories, like a miniature candy bar, and have 6 points. So that little estimation tool is out of the water. So good, Cindy or Kathy, that is great. $9.79 so far. I am hungry right now. I told my husband a while ago, I said, actually, I'm hungry. So what are calories? Calories and points, all those are words for what we use to track. A calorie is a unit of energy that our body uses to live, to breathe, move, digest, pump blood. That takes energy. And that unit of energy is called a calorie. We consume calories through food. I try to keep my beverages calorie-free, but if you drink calorie-rich beverages, you can consume calories through beverages, protein shakes, as Sarah calls them, candy coffee. All of those things are units of energy coming into our body. Then what happens is one of two things. One, we take that unit of energy and we use it through our daily activities, through maintaining our basic metabolic rate, it's called, which is how many calories it takes for us to lay in bed and exist if we didn't move a muscle. So any surplus beyond your basal metabolic rate of what it takes to exist, plus how many calories you burn through moving, digesting, anything. However many extra, we create a calorie surplus. Calorie surplus translates into gained weight. So we've not gained weight, we're just living in a calorie surplus, right? Or a point surplus. The opposite is true. When you eat lesser calories, then your body says, I have to have energy somewhere. I'm going to go into my reserve. I've got reserved energy. Right back there, some reserved energy. And I'm going to withdraw from that. That's when we lose fat. If that doesn't happen effectively, then we lose muscle. And we don't want to lose muscle. Unfortunately, the scale can't say you're losing muscle or you're losing fat. So it's really important to eat a good, protein-rich, balanced diet. That's what we're learning in the Forever Fix, that we eat structured, adequate, we eat all the food groups, and we do enjoy our food. Absolutely. So tracking, it isn't to make you feel guilty. It's about becoming aware. And if we don't write it down, that one day, it was during the summer sizzle last year, a year ago, when we worked on BLTs, and that one day, anything I started to stick in my mouth, I put it on a scale, weighed it, and kept just a tally by my scale. At the end of the day, I BLT'd 250 odd few calories. I was blown away. If you ask me, was I consuming 250 calories that day that I didn't know, I'd say, well, no, because like that's a Snickers bar. I would have known if I'd had a Snickers bar. But I just as well had, because 2 or 3 extra chips there, handful of almonds here, a few chocolate chips out of the freezer there, and it amounted up to where I might as well have sat down and eaten a Snickers bar. But I wasn't aware of it. After that, I've been very aware of my BLTs. Doesn't mean I don't always stop myself, but I am at least aware that I'm B'ing and L'ing and T'ing all over the place with those bites, licks, and tastes. So when we don't write things down, and you can log food any way you want to. I've showed you guys my old paper journal. I've still got several of these, but I used to just write it in a notebook. Not like that. That works. Take pictures of your food. That's a really helpful hint if you're out somewhere. Say you're at a restaurant and you actually want to participate in the conversation and not say, hold on, I got to put this in my app. Take a quick picture. You can record it later. That works anywhere you're at. I've got a wild hair trying to blow in my eye. Who knows? I don't even have hair, hardly. Okay, there. Got it out, maybe. So, even taking pictures of your food. Oh, Lois, you're good, girl. That's a way of tracking. Putting it in an app. Right now, I'm using the Weight Watcher app. If I'm doing calories, I do My Net Diary. Those are just my preferred ones. Whatever you prefer, jot it on a piece of paper. That works too. That's one thing. There's so many things in the world right now that are so expensive. Losing weight does not have to be one of them. I'd rather spend my money buying food I typically wouldn't buy than on gadgetries and gizmos and all of these little devices. So I do pay for My Net Diary, the premium, because they offered it to me for a discount. I'd been on it for a while. It was $29.99 for the year. I thought, okay, I'll spring for that. But like paying a big, huge amount, I would not. I'll just work it on my own. Okay, Claire says she doesn't track. She's not on Weight Watchers. You feel like tracking will make you more obsessive about food. That's an excellent point. It can be a trigger. What I would do Claire, on something like that is you might try taking the pictures of it and just at the end of the day do a review. Say, okay, this is what I had every time I ate today, and see if something is going by your day that you're not realizing. Because that's the point of tracking, is to become aware. Accountability, tracking helps you become more accountable to yourself. Yes, Kathy, I have tried the MyNet Diary Calorie app I use, and Weight Watchers work very similar. I've tried taking pictures a few times. Sometimes it gets it right, and sometimes it's like way off. Maybe I eat weird food, but it like doesn't even recognize what it is. But I have tried it, and the times that it has worked correctly, what I do is go back and just keep the correct things and take off the incorrect. So it does save time in that regard. Now, if you're sitting there with an orange, you could take a picture of it. If you've got soup, it's probably not going to recognize exactly what kind of soup. It will give you an estimation based on what it sees, like a vegetable noodle soup is what it will give you the information on. So accountability, it makes you be accountable to yourself. And one thing I learned coaching Weight Watcher meetings is when someone had went 3 weeks, either gained every week, hadn't lost every week, and they were being honest and saying, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and you've kind of troubleshot everything you can think of, it's nice to go back and check food logs and just see maybe you're not measuring something correctly or not counting something correctly. And that's been real helpful to me to look back. And also the same thing. Hi, Lydia. Come in, girl. Yes, tracking definitely helps me to be more mindful and accountable as well. But it also works the other way. Say you've had weeks of really good weight loss and done great. I think somebody's outside. Done great. You can go back and see, what was I doing during those good weeks? What was I eating? And I like to go back, even though they're 6 years old, I like to go back and think, oh, I forgot I went through a phase of eating that. I need to make that again. Or I hadn't thought of that in a while. I need to go back and revisit that again. So it works that direction too. It helps you to spot a pattern of when you eat and maybe even why you're eating. Remember, tracking, it's not to judge yourself or to grade yourself. It's just a way of gathering data. Once you see that data and maybe identify a trend, then you can adjust. For instance, I went through the McDonald's drive-thru in town today, not for me, to get Randy a McChicken. He likes McChickens. But I noticed the sign says, we now have sugar-free vanilla. Well, I instantly thought ice cream, and then I realized, oh, coffee syrup. They still have coffee syrup, which will be helpful, but they still will have the milk component in it. So I don't know. I'll have to look on my app and see what sugar-free iced coffees are. I'm a hot black coffee kind of girl. Pitfalls with tracking, some where things go wrong, things to troubleshoot, underestimating or overestimating your portions. I have told you guys that I can take a tablespoon and do this in a jar of peanut butter and probably get half a cup on a tablespoon. That's not a tablespoon of peanut butter, that's a half a cup. Once I started weighing this, it helped me to be able to correctly identify. And now when I get a spoon of peanut butter, I put it on my plate on a scale and weigh it. And if I'm being very good and having 20/20 point and measuring vision, I can get within a few grams of a serving. But I had to learn that portion first. forgetting liquid calories like we just talked about, coffees, things like that. Also, it can help you identify if you're not eating enough, and we do that a lot more than we think we do. We fall into the I'm not eating enough and don't know that our body is screaming for food. So it can help us if we're on too limiting ourselves too much. We talked about the app, keeping a paper journal, the photo log, and don't aim for perfection. It doesn't have to be perfect, just honest. And that's an area I can work on, is that even when it gets ugly, I'm still tracking. So for the wedding, I said I was going to have 1, maybe 2 pieces of cake. I had a cupcake, I had 1 piece of wedding cake, and just about that much of a pecan pie. I make a Starbucks punch. It's really, really good. Talking about candy coffee, I drank about that much. That was quality assurance. But then I got home and had some leftover cupcakes. So I am unhappy to share with you, I spent 115 points. That's ugly. That's as ugly can get. But I tracked it all, and I thought, wow, 115 points. I may be in the negative. My week rolls over. I guess it rolled over today. I may still be in the negative. They may make me pay for this for several weeks. But I tracked it, and I tracked it honest, because it was something I needed to do, is to be honest. And it was 115 sugary points. So our printable for today, and somebody had asked, does this have meal plans? Does it have recipes? No, it has just a daily to-do, which we're going to take it weekly. But it does have links all through, just scattered throughout, on links back in. And if you download it like to your laptop or phone, you can click on that link and follow it. That's right, Becky, I still track. Like 75 easy ways to eat more vegetables, a Japanese sweet potato recipe. So it does have links back to information, and if you download it, or if you do like I do and print it off, and like right here, the Freely Daily Calorie Range Calculator, the holy mess. So I say, I don't know how many calories I should eat in a day. I'm counting points. What should I look for on calories? Because we can track that now. You can go into that calorie calculator on the website and get you an idea of how many calories you need to eat a day. One affirmation that's in our journal: your body is not broken. Oh, thank you, Claire. Thank you. It was nice. Your body is not broken. You can lose weight. Yeah, all of us can lose weight. I used to could drop 5 pounds like really quick in a week, easy. Not no more. That ship sailed and sunk. I'm older now. My metabolism is slower. I'm over the menopause hill. We've talked a lot about that. 5 pounds takes me a long time to lose, but that's okay. What's time? Guess what? A year from now will still be a year from now. I could be better instead of worse. So, don't box yourself in a corner with time. Just relax and make good decisions for the day. Our body is like that machine. It's calibrated, and the fewer calories you eat, the more fat you will burn. The more calories you eat, the more fat you will gain. So it goes into here, if you've printed it off, it says, you may be saying, I have chronic health issues. Boom, that's me. Hormone problems. I got bad knees. I can't exercise. Yes, yes, yes. If anybody else can identify with those excuses and a bucket full more, let me know. I have had every excuse under the sun. And I'm going to be honest on this too. I was in 4th grade the first time I learned to it's a lie. I just have to say lie. The first time I learned to lie about why I was overweight. This is from a fourth grader's mind. What was I, like 9? So keep in mind, you're dealing with a 9-year-old. As kids often do, why are you fat? Oh, I hate that. I hate even saying it. But you know, kids, your peers on the playground. I told them I had a thyroid disorder. I was a budding nurse in 4th grade and didn't know it. I don't think I even knew what a thyroid was in 4th grade, but yet I felt the need to be defensive of my size at a real early age. And it's amazing how quick, I'm sure they learn it far quicker today. That was a long time ago, before we had the internet. And I mean, I was on a party line with 4 other houses, so way back yonder. Had to check out an encyclopedia from the library if I wanted to Google anything. But yet, in my little 9-year-old brain, somehow I knew to offer an excuse instead of say, well, gee, I guess I eat too much, because I didn't know that either. So I have a thyroid issue. Well, they didn't ask anymore. It seemed to work. So at 9 years old, I learned excuses. And excuses are great, except they're not reality. It's kind of like lies. So we can have things that affect our metabolism. I have a hard time I'm having a hard time talking without a tooth too, but I'm still talking. I may sound like Daffy Duck part of the time. I can't exercise because of bad knees. No, I can't do squats. I can't do lunges. Can I walk? Yeah, most days I can walk. I'm having to do physical therapy because of muscle weakness, and I'm doing things out there that I would have told you I can't do, but obviously I can because I'm doing them. My favorite one is where I sit on the great big red ball, and they've learned to put me between 2 things because I wobble, and bring my legs up in front of me. Now, if I was not going to physical therapy, would I be doing that? Absolutely not. But guess what? I can do it, and when I have a taskmaster standing over me, timing me, I will do it. And Claire says her mother, who's currently 85, has been very thin. She had a tonsillectomy at 8. Wow, that's when I started gaining weight. It was when I had my tonsils out. Oh, Nancy, you said a mouthful. I've learned that raising kids. No one, it's an innate born thing that a lie, a little kid will tell a lie. And I remember the first time I caught one of my kids in a lie, I'm like, where did they learn to do that? And I realized it's human. It's their humanity. No one has to teach you that. It's just born in there. And then we have to learn to work on keeping that kind of stuff squelched. So we may have hormone issues that affect our metabolism. We may have chronic health issues that affect our metabolism or affect our ability to digest food. There's allergies, there's GI disorders that affect your digestion. Those aren't excuses. Those are conditions that your body has to learn to work around. Now, as bad as my back and my knees can be, if somebody set a piece of that wedding cake at the top of a flight of stairs, I guarantee you I could run them 2 at a time to get to the top. There my Daffy Duck mouth again. I could run those stairs 2 at a time to get to the top to get that cake. Now, if you set an apple up there, I'd probably go, I got apples at home. So, what's your motivating factor? Dr. Now. I have a love-hate relationship with Dr. Now. You know Dr. Nelsarden from the 600-Pound Life. I guess I love him because he does help people, but I sure don't like what he says because it's so brutal and true. And one of his sayings is, the scale doesn't lie, people do. You know, I've seen women, much like I used to be, go in there and say, yes, I have followed the 1,200 calorie diet. I have weighed, I have measured, I have not slipped. And they gained 20 pounds. And that's when he would say, the scale doesn't lie. People do. I do too, Susie. I really do. I like that he helps people, and he has helped a lot of people, but he also shames people. And he told a person on there one time that was right over 500 pounds. Tammy, you're addicted. Wish you could find the current ones. I think they're on a channel I get on the Roku, but I don't remember which one. But there was a person that was just over 500 pounds, like maybe 520, something like that. I was 488. And he said, you can never lose weight on your own. And one day I want to go to Houston and say, can too lose weight on your own. Stomach surgery, gastric bypass, the sleeve, whatever, it's a tool. Those people still have to work and work hard. And for everybody that may have had surgery or are considering surgery, I considered it myself. But I knew that the problem was not the size of my human stomach. That was a problem. But the problem was my brain. And I knew I had to work from inside out. I didn't know all I was going to learn over the years, but I knew I had to fix the problem from within me of why I ate the way I ate. And, you know, it's totally off topic, but if that's a tool you're using, I applaud you because you're working. If you're using GLP-1s or oral medications, you're still working, and if you're doing it at the plate, you're still working. It is work to lose weight. I said the other day, you have to work it like a job, and you do. But guess what? We get breaks with a job. We get to take a day off now and then. And in our weight loss journey, sometimes we have to take a break and say, you know what? I just need to work on maintaining, and then I'll dig a little harder. It's kind of like going on a coffee break for a while. But weight loss happens when we consume less than our body needs. So we asked the question, have you blamed hormones, genes, health issues? Yes, there is a genetic link to obesity. It comes back to, is it biological or environmental? I think it's a little bit of both. You know, our doctor, my family doctor told her, he said, you have the worst of Lynette's genes and the worst of Randy's genes. They all fell on you. And bless her, she does. She has the worst of our gene pool right there, all at once. I'm like, I'm sorry. We had a bad gene pool going on here for you. And you do inherit some genetic tendencies. My family tends to be heavy-chested. I have inherited heavy chestfulness. I don't have a hiney for nothing, but I'm heavy-chested. That's a genetic trait. Will it change with weight loss? Yes, it will. Had my mammogram yesterday. Ladies, get your mammogram. Thumbs up. I have never had a mammogram results the same day I had my mammogram. They're really getting good at that. So if you've not had your mammogram lately, go get your mammogram. I did yesterday. Had that done. What action we can do instead of an excuse, let's look for an action. How about we track some way, whatever way, and lose a half a pound this week. Now, if I tell you I'm going to lose half a pound this week, most people, self-included, is going to be like, whoop-de-doo. That's just like you took off your socks or something. Remember the affirmation, I accept slow miracles. I accept slow miracles. Guess what half a pound a week would be over a year? Over 25 pounds. Would I take that? Yeah, absolutely. Not only do I accept slow miracles, progress over perfection. Am I going to eat perfect every single day of my life? Nope, it's not realistic. It's not life. because there are weddings and there are birthdays and there are holidays. And then there's every day. Just, yeah, take off those socks, absolutely. Literally at the Weight Watcher workshop I led, they had stickers on the scales not to weigh barefooted. You couldn't weigh barefooted. And I've put paper towels down so people could take off whatever they needed to take off. I had one lady go to the bathroom and come out in a trench coat. Elora, I don't know, you may have been there that day. Come out in a trench coat to weigh. And I said, you're surely not weighing in that trench coat. And I mean, it was like one of those puffer style trench coats. And she said, no, I have on a full slip and under here. We'd all got a good kick out of that. And we laughed and it was funny. And she laughed and it was funny. So learn to laugh. Laugh at yourself. And if it makes you feel better to weigh in your birthday suit, in a slip, you were there. You know exactly. It was funny. And she was not going to go over her lifetime goal and have to pay or whatever it was. I think she may have been working on her 6 weeks of maintenance for lifetime. I think that she would have taken off the slip if I had said you're a quarter of a pound over. Carla says, I'm saying things I need to hear so badly. I'm saying things I need to hear too. I'd take half a pound a week. Absolutely. So one thing that helps us be successful is committing, being accountable to others and committing. So this week, if you're not a tracker, if you're not an honest tracker when it gets ugly, if whatever your if is, we all got ifs and buts, if only, but, right, ifs and buts. 3 days in a row. And Claire, try taking pictures. Remember, that is tracking too. Try taking pictures. Even if you don't write down the food, write down the time. Breakfast at 10:30. Lunch at 4:30. Ate everything at 9 o'clock. Is there a trend there? Maybe you were underfed during the day. Track for at least 3 days in a row and look, is there a trend? If I eat breakfast, I usually eat breakfast by 7:30-ish, something like that, pretty early in the morning. If I don't eat lunch in the noon hour, 12 to 1, I can promise you by 3 o'clock, I'm going to eat everything from then till bedtime because I have underfed myself. And once I start eating, it's really hard to stop because it's like, well, I'm going to eat lunch at 3 o'clock. Well, that's late. And wow, it's supper 3 hours later. Well, I'm going to eat supper too. And you just keep eating and eating. So look for trends like that. Look for, I was doing really good until whatever happened. Was it a feeling? Was it an emotion? An event, wedding, birthday? Those are events. Was there something different about that day? So even if you don't write all your food down, track your day. Crazy day at work. Came home, ate ice cream out of the bucket. Yeah, those kind of things. And that's what we're doing this week. So work on tracking. I like to do that same thing, Linda. I'm trying to really stick to eating even when I'm not home, even when I'm gone. And that reminds me, I was going to tell you guys, I learned something yesterday. I'm all the time learning something from these little kids out there. They're so smart. The young lady working at TCBY, we have a frozen yogurt place in Harrison. And because it was my birthday, I got $5 free yogurt. And I said, what do you have for sugar-free soft serve today? And she said, we don't have any sugar-free soft serve. And I thought, they always have sugar-free soft serve. I thought, shoot, I'm going to lose my you know how cheap I am. I'm going to lose my $5 birthday coupon. I said, well, do you have any hand-dipped that's sugar-free? No, she said, but I do have no sugar-added soft serve. And it clicked in my head. A lot of times in an app, when I'm tracking whether calories or points, I'll put in sugar-free, I'm going to say apple pie filling, and I get nothing. I put in no sugar added, and I get it. So I don't know if that's a terminology change in the dietary world or not, or in the marketing world. I've got to look, in a lot of things in the stores, if you look, are labeled 0 sugar, no added sugar. That way, instead of sugar-free. So I thought, learn something right there. Terminology, I think, has changed on that. So if you can't find something in an app under sugar-free, try no added sugar or no sugar added. And I learned that. I also learned that I've been in a plum eating notion, and they're $1.32 each at Walmart. I'll put them back. I'll go back. Little Dollar General has an express market, and you get a bag for $4.75. I learned plums can be expensive. But I thought I'd share that about sugar-free. I think you may be right, Kathy. I think they've kind of reframed what sugar-free actually means now, like 0 morsels of any sugar, as opposed to what I would think white sugar, added sugar, granulated sugar, corn syrup sugar. So I thought that was an interesting thing. Our crumbs from the table, well, of course we have crumbs from the table, and it's from Hebrews 12:11. No chastening seems to be joyful for the present, but painful. Nevertheless, afterward, it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Chastening is discipline. So if we throw that word in there, no discipline is joyful in the present. It's not. When you were in school and you got called to the office, there was just a fear of God fell over me, because I feared what was going to happen when I got home. I didn't like having to discipline my kids. I don't discipline my grandkids. Are you kidding me? I just growl at them now and then. I said, you better quit that. Get Nanny mean face going. I didn't ever enjoy taking away privileges from my children, ever. God sometimes has to discipline us, and it's so hard when we're being disciplined. It says here in this verse, no discipline is joyful in the present, but it's painful. It really is. Nevertheless, afterward, it yields peaceable fruit of righteousness for those who have been trained by it. So think about tracking in whatever form you choose to do for 3 days. You're not punished. You're not being graded. It's not chastening. It may be a little painful, though, but see if it produced a fruit. Did you learn something new? Did you observe a pattern? Did you learn that you may be like me and bite, lick, and taste things you didn't realize you were? Nancy, my grandkids are split. I am nanny to 2 of them and ninny to 2 of them. What's interesting is it's a child in each house. Charlie has an older son that's 10. He started with the ninny because he couldn't say granny. I was going to be granny. He couldn't say granny, so he called me ninny. My husband said, I've been waiting for years to call you a ninny. Ha ha. His little sister, who's 5, calls me nanny. Then in my other son's house, Jake, his oldest daughter will soon be 5, and she says nanny. Her little brother is 2, and he says ninny. And if I say nanny, he'll say no ninny. So I thought that was funny. It's one kid each in each household, nanny and ninny. But I'm going to answer to hey you if they call me. That's what I am. So I'm a ninny nanny, hey you, whatever they want to call me. I'll come a running. But this verse reminds us that disciplining ourselves gives us a harvest. So your mama was nanny. Oh, sugar nanny. That's cute. So as we track, make a small change if you see you need to, and do it with the idea of I'm learning. I'm not being punished. I'm going to bear fruit from this. And that's what we work on for this week. Now next week, we're going to go into if you bite it, you ride it. We're going to hit those BLTs, which is exactly what we're doing in the membership. This is sort of a sampling of what happens in the membership. So if you like what we're doing here, you might want to check out the membership, because we do a whole lot of this kind of stuff over there. So your homework for the week, track 3 consecutive days in whatever manner you can. If you write it on an envelope or a receipt in your purse, whatever, track whatever way works and look for trends, patterns, something like that. So, all right, guys, I love you guys. And Friday, over on Faithful Fridays, I'll still be hissing with my little hissy tooth here. But come Saturday, Lord willing, we'll get that thing fixed back, and I won't be hissing at everybody. So, all right, love you guys. Bye-bye.